I am sure that many of you, or maybe all of you, have heard about Timothée Chalamet's comments about how we are fighting to keep opera and ballet alive. Classical music is extremely relevant in today's society, but it is true that we have been trying to find creative and new ways to attract new public. I have seen institutions introduce new modern music because they think the audience is tired of the great classics like Mahler and so on. How often have you gone to a concert to watch a great classic that was on the program, but the institution decides to include a short and uncommon and unknown piece at the beginning of a program? How often have you enjoyed that piece? Or does it often feel like it's out of place? Let's talk about how new repertoire is introduced to the public. What is good music? I feel like good music is music that can stand the test of time. From Mozart to Mahler to Michael Jackson, it doesn't matter. It is music that will be alive for centuries to come. As classical musicians, we also perform music from living composers. This music can be extremely impactful, especially if it reflects the composer's culture and life. But many composers like to compose music that reflects today's society, noisy, disturbed, dark. This all began after the Second World War, after composers started to deconstruct melodies and turn it into short, motivic ideas. After the wars, people didn't have time to think about love and dreams. Much of their daily life was reconstructing what was destroyed, putting broken pieces of their lives back together. This is very clear in the composition's transition into modern music. Composers would use samples of their everyday life and transform it into their musical ideas. It was a reflection of their society, of what they were going through. Many composers have developed that into a whole new extreme today. There is good and great contemporary music out there, but it is our job as musicians to be able to filter that and to present that to the public. What I am about to say is my opinion, and I invite you all to disagree in the comments. We do not need more noise in today's society, where we are constantly losing culture day by day. In a society where technology is taking over, we are losing humanity. That is not what the world needs. And humanity can only be expressed through things that are purely ours. Sadness, humor, love, despair are all integral to our nature as human beings. It is what we need today more than ever before. Us as musicians should be responsible for selecting what is good music, so to speak. To select the repertoire that is most impactful, and should be responsible for selecting the repertoire that is presented to the audience. This way, the public is not exposed to repertoire that can feel meaningless and out of context in a concert. Every composer has good and bad compositions. So we should be able to select that to make a meaningful concert. Let me use an example. I recently went to watch a concert of Frank Zimmermann with the Radio France Philharmonic Orchestra. They did and presented a repertoire only from 1900 to 1950s. The first half were of pieces that I had never heard of before, but they were still inside the context of the 1900s to the 1950s. The second half was of a French composer, and then they would finish the concert with Firebird from Stravinsky. Firebird is one of the most impactful pieces from Stravinsky, and we were all there to watch this piece at the end. But inside the context, I feel that it was extremely appropriate for Radio France to introduce this repertoire at the beginning that we had no idea or had never heard of before. And I would listen to this new repertoire again because I was expecting this type of musical language from the concert. For me, this was such an intelligent way to make and present new repertoire because it is and makes sense inside the context. The style of the concert was circulated around the 1900s to the 1950s. The language was the same. What we expected from the concert was exactly the language that was presented to us. And then Zimmermann played an encore, and he chose to play Bach, the prelude of the fifth Bach cello suite. The Bach encore felt out of place. It was a wonderful performance from Zimmermann, and in between all that contemporary music that experiments with structure, with layers, and with sound, he presented something pure and holy, which broke our setting and somehow, for me, felt out of place. And it would have been extremely more impactful if he had played something from the period of the whole rest of the repertoire from the concert. Another example would be if you were to watch a Beethoven symphony in a concert and they put an unknown modern piece at the beginning of the concert. That, to me, would not be so impactful. How about putting a new piece that we don't really know very well, but from the same style and same epoch as Beethoven? That would make much more sense, and that would be much more impactful for the public. We should present music in an appropriate setting. We should not betray our public by promising them something and giving them something else. It is so often that a modern composition is presented to a public simply because of their connections to the artistic direction, for their financial agenda and investments that they have done, and not necessarily for the quality of their music. And I feel that is slightly irresponsible, because we have a duty to present good art for good art's sake. I believe this is also common in other art forms, and is a big talking point about where we want culture to go.